Joe Biden is on fire today, trending all over social media with news-making smackdowns and revelations. And is it any surprise? America may have forgotten about Joe Biden, but Europe certainly has not. After all, Biden brought back NATO from the brink of collapse after 4 years of Putin's puppet, Donald Trump, trying his best to destroy it. Biden managed to tamp down inflation caused by the havoc to supply chains that ensued when Trump ignored a worldwide pandemic. And by strengthening the U.S. economy, Biden actually helped lower inflation with our trading partners, who, by the way, Trump is now destroying. So living with the nightmare of a second Trump presidency, Europe is eager to hear from Joe Biden, and the BBC is more than happy to provide the microphone. Biden sat down for an interview that almost melted the wires. I'm going to show clips from that interview, and you can see for yourself that Biden accomplished two important goals. First, he tried reassuring the world that America is not on board with dimwit Donnie. Second, he's out there trying to lay to rest this myth, now perpetuated by Jay Tapper and his co-author, Alex Thompson, that Biden went into steep cognitive decline and the White House covered it up. Steep cognitive decline? You can watch Donald Trump for more than 30 seconds, but you're worried about Biden having steep cognitive decline? Please, tell me again about the liberal media. Watch these clips from the BBC, and you'll see that Biden, who has always struggled with a speech impediment, is still far more intelligent and coherent than Donald Trump on his best day. Here's Biden being asked about the current state of democracy.
You've talked about a great threat to democracy. Do you really believe that there is a greater threat now to democracy than at any time since the Second World War?
Yes, I do. Because, I mean, look at the number of European leaders in European countries. They're wondering, well, what do I do now? I mean, what's the best route for me to take? Can I rely on the United States? Are they going to be there?
So you have to hand it to Biden. He could have attacked Trump here, but he held back, and with good reason. He doesn't want to overdo it attacking Trump. He's picking his moments. Then the topic of Ukraine and Zelensky came up, and there was no holding back.
Let's turn to Ukraine, can we? Because you compared the war in Ukraine with the Second World War. President Trump is now saying, look, if you want peace, Ukraine is going to have to give up some territory. Some people think that is common sense to say that. Do you think it's not common sense? It's perhaps modern day appeasement?
It is modern day appeasement. Look, listen to what Putin said when he talked about going from Kyiv into Ukraine. And why? He can't stand the fact that the Russian dictatorship that he runs, that the Soviet Union has collapsed. And anybody thinks he's going to stop is just foolish.
What did you make of those scenes in the Oval Office? President Trump and President Zelensky?
I found it sort of beneath America, the way that took place. And the way we talk about now that, well, it's the Gulf of America. Maybe we're going to have to take back Panama. Maybe we need to acquire Greenland. Maybe Canada should be a fit. What the hell's going on here? What president ever talks like that? That's not who we are. We're about freedom, democracy, opportunity, not about confiscation.
And that led to the question that everyone wants answered.
You said, I'm the man who can stop Donald Trump. And you did once. And in the end, you withdrew from that election campaign at the last minute. It's a question, you know, lots of people ask you, Mr. President. Did you leave it too late? Should you have withdrawn earlier, given someone else a bigger chance?
I don't think it would have mattered. We left at a time when we had a good candidate, She had fully funded. And what happened was, I had become what we had set out to do, no one thought we could do. And become so successful in our agenda, it was hard to say, no, I'm going to stop now. I meant what I said when I started, that I think I'm prepared to hand this to the next generation. It's a transition government. But things moved so quickly that it made it difficult to walk away, and it was a hard decision. But
Regrets, though?
no, I think it was the right decision. I think that it was just a difficult decision.
So the first thing no one can fail to see in Biden's answer is his authenticity. It was a tough question, and it goes directly to Biden's age and his mortality. And right there, live, he struggled with it, but answered it with insight and clarity. His answer is going to make anyone with even half an open mind want to go back to the stability of the Biden years, their economic stability and growth, their respect on the world stage. Yes, Biden failed in Gaza, like every U.S. president before him, but certainly not like the clown show we have now, proposing to remove everyone and build luxury condos. This interview makes clear what everyone saw at Pope Francis's funeral. Sleepy Joe Biden is still in command of the flight deck, while dozing Donnie is still absolutely asleep at the wheel. When are you going to write the book about that one, Jake, and how the mainstream media covered it up? I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.